Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a Wednesday live stream. This is day 3 of our Thanksgiving week live marathon. Happy Thanksgiving Eve to all of our American family members and anybody who's celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow. I know there's plenty of Canadians who start celebrating Thanksgiving at this time of the year too. It's kind of like we're doing it adjacently. We've got so much family and friends across the border that a lot of people celebrate it. So I know a lot of you are busy. I'm really happy that you were able to take some time to spend with us today. And hopefully will be some comfort and some company as you kind of get busy in the kitchen or maybe vacuuming or whatever you might be doing to prepare for the big day tomorrow. And for the rest of us who aren't necessarily celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow, hi, welcome. Hope you're in a crafty mood, and if you're just looking for a little company, that's what we're up to today. We are going to make a little mouse, and we have an original tutorial from, I think it was 2015. Our little mouse, I named him Klaus because I just think I love the way things rhyme. And our little mouse is, that link to that tutorial is in the description box down below. So if you want to check out the shorter version of that video later, then you can do that. Today, much like a lot of these live cows, not only am I going to make one of these little mice, but we're going to talk about some fun ways that you can tweak the pattern for different purposes, and also how to make it different sizes. I've used this little mouse pattern for a lot of different purposes over the years, many more than I would have anticipated being able to make a crochet mouse for. So yeah, we're going to make some of these sweet little mice today. If you've got pets, this does make a very cute little toy. I make them a little bit smaller for my family's cats, and I make them about this size for the family's dogs, because pets really do like to have a little stuffed toy. I made one here. This one's all in wool. So I recommend if you're going to make them for cats or dogs or as little pet toys, 100% wool or cotton, but wool especially is a great choice because animals like real natural fibers. There's nothing bad about real natural fibers, so sinking their little teeth into these isn't going to give them any trouble. You can stuff it with pillow stuffing or even more scraps of yarn or wool yarn, and it doesn't take up very much. You're only looking at like 20 yards at the max, probably less than that for one of these little guys. So if you want to make a pet toy, you can stuff it with a little bit of catnip if it's for the cats, or just plain regular stuffing. Same sort of stuffing that you'd find in a pillow. And I do recommend the wool. You also don't have to add any of the little embellishments. So you don't need to add any eyes, you don't need to add an embroidered nose or anything like that. You just need to make the mouse and add the ears. Now the mouse and the tail are all done in one go. The ears are made separately and sewn on. I'm going to show you how to do that today because it's also part of the original tutorial. But after a while, if you make enough of these, you can actually figure out how to build the ears directly onto the mouse. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. Very simple shape, but it's definitely very mousy. Now, I am going to make a mouse today with the full range of embellishments. I'm going to add eyes, I'm going to embroider the nose, but I'm specifically making my mouse today to be a Christmas ornament. I love little woodland creatures on the tree. I think we were talking about this, if not yesterday, then on Monday's live stream. I have lots of little squirrels and owls on the tree, but I think this year I want to add some mice because I just think mice are so cute. And because I made this on Monday, this little Christmas stocking, I've been kind of obsessing over it since Monday. I hung it up in my bedroom. And I think this is going to be my Christmas color theme for this year. So I reassembled my 2 yarns that I made my Christmas stocking out of. And I've got some matching beads and some embroidery floss, and I've got some skinnier yarn. I'm going to talk about that too in a minute. And I'm going to make one of these little mice out of my peachy coral color because I'm going to make him as an ornament, and I'm going to make him in the same colors to kind of go with my stocking. So we'll see how that works out today. Plus, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to see my stitches quite nicely using this peachy coral color. I'm using a size 4 medium weight acrylic yarn for today's mouse because it's going to be a decoration for my house. This little guy, this was a size 4 medium weight yarn in 100% wool because it's a little pet toy and there's 0 embellishment on it, just the tail and the ear. But it definitely looks like a mouse. You don't have to add the embellishments if you don't want to. If you're going to make it, you may have seen, if you were here many years ago, you may have seen me wearing miniature versions of this in my hair. So you can make a very small version of this mouse and not add any embellishments using a sock weight yarn and maybe a 3mm hook, like a B hook or a C hook, and make a super tiny little mouse that you can wear as a brooch or as a little hairpin or maybe a magnet or just use it as a little toy. So you can make it super small. And I think you can also upsize this pretty easily using that blanket weight yarn and an 8mm hook and have a really big mouse, which might be a cute stuffed toy for a little kid. So lots of options for this project. Nico's in the house with a gifted membership. Thank you, Nico. And it looks like Mandy won it. Welcome back to the family, Mandy. That's awesome. So there we go. You'll also notice I have a collection of beads. This is so I can add little eyes if I want to. You can also embroider eyes or you can leave the eyes off. Again, doesn't really matter. But because I'm leaning into the idea of this being a pretty little Christmas ornament, I brought out more beads today because I don't know. I think I might be looking for ways to work a little more sparkle and kind of Christmas bling into my little mouse. So we'll see how that goes. So that's why I've got all of these pretty beads all lined up here. Some may be his eyes, others might just be pretty little bead embellishments. So I'm just going to shove these to the side so I don't upset the bead cart and have them fall all over the place. I also don't need my super fine weight yarn. I just wanted to show it to you in case you wanted to kind of get an idea of what I was talking about when I said it's like sock weight. So this is that sock weight yarn. It's very, very skinny. It's about the same size as a size 1 or a size 3 crochet thread. So you could use crochet thread and a very small hook too if you wanted to make a super little small mouse. But these are the colors I'm focusing on today. I'm going to start with this pretty peachy coral. Needle and thread to add embellishments. I've got some embroidery floss here. If I'm going to do his little nose, I like to embroider a nose. So I've got my embroidery needle and some floss. I'll put that aside though for later. Other little things, pair of scissors, yarn needle. Those are going to be handy. A stitch marker. You might find stitch markers to be very helpful when you're making little amigurumi because they help keep track of rows. They help keep track of stitches. And this little guy, we do some really interesting switch ups with the increasing in this pattern to help shape him. So he's got a flat bottom and he is shaped based on where we put our increases in. So it's helpful sometimes to have a stitch marker just so you know which row you're on or where your first stitch of the row ends up being. I'm using a 4mm hook, also known as a G6 today, with my size 4 medium weight acrylic yarn. And the original tutorial is linked down below. So let's get started. I'm going to put my little Klaus off to the side. Hello, Caroline. Caroline's been a member for 40 months. She's got a membership milestone here. Loving this week's lives. Great fun and inspiring. Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that. It's just fun company. I've been enjoying this too. I know Mr. InStitches and I kind of finish with our live streams each day, and then we sit and we giggle about all of the conversations that everybody was having in the chat.
I'm lurking today.
Mr. is lurking.
I'm gonna join the Lurkers Club today.
I'm having a ginger lemon tea this morning. So
there was a question about Kelly asks, did you ever decorate your recent crocheted Christmas tree?
Not yet, Kelly. We will be doing that on a live stream, but I think I'm going to save that for December. I'm looking at my little tree right now, actually. No, have not decorated it yet. I will be doing that along with everybody, but we're going to save that for next month, which is coming up quickly, isn't it? My goodness. So yes, you haven't missed anything. That will be live. All right, I'm going to get right into my little mouse here. I'm going to pull out some of my yarn so that it's not, oh yeah, I've got that little extra bit. I might use that as stuffing. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to keep my stitch marker handy. And here we go. We are starting with a cinch circle. I know a lot of you are like, oh, come on. Trust me, it is such a great thing to know how to do a cinch circle. I'm going to show it to you on the flat surface today in case you have trouble fiddling with this in real time. So here we go. You lay your yarn down and you cross it to make a loop. It's very simple. Keep a finger on that. Take your hook and just slip it through the loop. Grab the yarn. It doesn't have to be tight. And just pull a loop up. You can even take your hands off it. Nothing's going to unravel. Then you can pick it up. It just basically looks like a loose slip knot. You can leave it on the ground, shuffle it around a little bit. Either way, you've got this loop pulled up on your hook, and then you're just going to chain one. So you can put your hand on that whole circle, reach under that yarn, and just chain one. And now you can practically throw it out the window. It's not going to come apart. I don't know why you'd want to throw a cinch circle out the window, but that's the first thing that came to mind.
Extreme crochet.
Extreme crochet. Throw that cinch circle out the window. Yeah. Yep. I didn't even drink all 3 cups of coffee today, guys. So we have no idea how this is going to go.
You're crushing it with the speaking today. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Anyway, that is how you make a cinch circle. You can do it flat on a surface if it gives you trouble. And then you just kind of pull tight on everything, and now you've got a perfectly working cinch circle. So these are not difficult. I truly invite you to just practice a couple times and get used to it, because wow, is it ever a great technique for starting something tiny like the itty bitty little nose of a mouse. And that's exactly where we're starting. So we're going to, after that chain one, which secures the circle, we are going to be using single crochet. So we don't need to chain any more chains. We're just going to start single crocheting. The first row is the most difficult. So once you get row 1 out of the way, it's just smooth sailing from here on out. We are going to single crochet 4 times into the circle. Nice and easy, making sure we're working over top of that short tail. Then you grab the short tail and cinch the whole thing up nice and tight. You do not have to work over that tail. You can just leave it to the back and it will become stuffing. So we are not joining rows with a slip stitch at all throughout this entire project. We are continually working in a spiral. So if you look at my little mousie, you will not see any seam running at all through this mouse. There are no joining of rows. So this is a seamless mouse shape that we are going to create working in an endless spiral, and right out to the little tail at the end. So we're going to find that first stitch we made, and we're going to slip our hook right into it. I'm going to leave that little short tail to the back. We're going to work 2 single crochet into that first stitch. And here's where we bust out the stitch marker. Oh my goodness gracious. Judith! Thank you, Judith! 2 little single crochet into that first stitch, and I've gone ahead and I've marked stitch number 1 with my stitch marker. This way I can keep track of where the first stitch of the row is, and I don't really have to think about it. I don't have to keep looking for it. The increasing in row 1 is not a full double. It is a partial increase. So we're only going to increase twice. So after the first 2 single crochet in stitch 1, we're going to single crochet once into the next stitch. Then we're going to single crochet twice into stitch number 3, and single crochet once into stitch number 4, or what was the last stitch of row 1. So it's not a doubling of stitches, it is only a partial increase. So we go from 4 stitches in row 1 to 6 stitches in row 2, because we are shaping his little nose. So that's row 2 done. I'm going to take my stitch marker off. Still not joining, still working in a spiral. We're going to continue that same increase pattern. So into the first stitch of the row, we're going to work 2 single crochet. And I'm going to pause and mark my first stitch. We're going to single crochet once into each of the next 2 stitches. So we're still only putting in 2 official increases in this row. And then we repeat 2 single crochet into the next stitch, and a single crochet into each of the next 2. So from 6 stitches in row 2 to 8 stitches in row 3, shaping a little mouse nose as we go. In row 4, we're going to single crochet in every single stitch all the way around. So row 4 is just straight single crochet. We are not increasing. I'm going to work the first stitch of the row and mark it so that I don't lose it. And that way I know I've worked every single stitch when I get it back around to it. So I'm just single crocheting in each stitch. Stitch count will not change. Got one more little stitch here. Now, because we've been doing some increasing, that means that the first stitch of the row, when you're working in a spiral, always kind of ends up being a stitch further back. It's kind of like a clock slowly moving backwards, or a clock moving in retrograde. Your first row turns into row 2 over here, like a couple stitches back from where we finished. So just to even up things, we're going to single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So we still haven't changed our stitch count, but we've just evened up. So if you look at this sort of mouse nose shape, you're going to have a fairly even conical shape all the way around. So it's not going to be like one side of the top is lower than the other. It's going to be fairly even. Now that's my little short tail from the cinch circle. I'm just going to stuff it into the nose of my mouse and start the stuffing process. So as the nose is sort of stuffed, and I'm going to pause and I'm going to have a sip of my tea because I don't want it to go hot or cold on me. And that's the end of row 4. We still have 8 stitches all the way around. We took a moment to sort of weave or to even things up. Very nice. So glad everybody could get here. We've just gotten started. If you need a recap of this tutorial at any time, there is a tutorial link in the description box down below. And we are playing with our mouse pattern today. We are launching into row 5. Row 5, we continue with the increasing, but now we are increasing to shape his forehead. And this will be the area where his little ears are eventually located. So this is not a typical increasing pattern either. So here we go. We are going to single crochet twice. Oh my goodness. Marie, thank you, Marie. We're going to single crochet twice into each of the next 4 stitches. So I'm going to start the row with 2 single crochet into the next stitch. I'm going to mark that first stitch so I know where stitch number 1 of the row is. I'm going to work 2 single crochet into each of the next now 3, 2, 1 stitches. So 2 single crochet in the first 4 stitches of the row. That brings us up to 8 right there. So 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've increased 4 times across the first 4 stitches of what was the previous row. That leaves us with 4 stitches to go, and we're just going to single crochet once into each of them. So our stitch count has grown to 12 at the end of row 5. But all of our increasing was done up front, and that's to shape the forehead of our little mouse. So that's row 5. We're up to 12 stitches. Row 6, we're going to single crochet in every single stitch all the way around. So no increasing for this row. We're just single crocheting in each stitch. I will mark the first stitch of this row and single crochet into each of those 12 stitches. I see Wickabella says I need a mug warmer. I do need a mug warmer. I need that little thing that I can just sit it on that keeps it warm. That is the end of row 6. We are going to single crochet into the next stitch just to even things up. This doesn't change the stitch count at all. And now for row 7, we are going to continue increasing to shape his forehead. So here we go. We are going to work 2 single crochet into each of the next 8 stitches now. So 2 single crochet into the next stitch to start. I'm going to add my stitch marker back in. And now I'm going to work 2 single crochet in each of the next 7 stitches. Deanna, hey Deanna, Deanna's in the house. Thank you so much for the super chat. Deanna says, thank you so much for the help in fixing the roof to my gingerbread house applique. Just icing it now. Fantastic. I'm glad that worked out. Did you go with the smaller hook? So that's 2 single crochet in each of the first 8 stitches of the row. And now you can really see, here's his little nose, and we're really increasing to build up his forehead area. And this is where his little ears are going to end up sitting. And you'll have 4 stitches left in the row. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to single crochet in each of them. So we're now up to 20 stitches altogether, but all of the increasing is front loaded in the row, so that we can continue to shape our little mouse. So we want to kind of create his forehead and then into that little kind of bumpity bump, his little rump. That's one of the reasons I like the mouse shape, is because they're all bunty and rumpy. Sip of tea. Deanna says, yes, I also adjusted the stitch count. Oh, fantastic. Barbara, your cats would definitely love this. I make little mini wool versions for my furry little nieces, and every once in a while, in the past I made one for each of them, and I wrapped them up like little gifts, and we took them over when we visited. Oh my goodness! Thank you, Carrie. Thank you so much. I brought them as little gifts. And my sister-in-law unwrapped one in front of Lady, and Lady was like so interested in what was in this package. And then once she unwrapped it, she was like, here, it's a little mouse. And Lady just picked it up in her mouth and ran off with it, and then went underneath one of the kitchen chairs and just started like playing with it under the chair. It was so cute. And she carried it all over the house. So yes, they do love these little mice. And if it's a smaller cat, you can use smaller yarn and a smaller hook to make it a smaller mouse. So you can just resize these mice easily by changing yarn and hook size. You don't have to change the stitch count at all. Okay, so that was row 7 complete. That was 2 single crochet in each of the first 8 stitches of the row, followed by a single crochet in each of the last 4 stitches. We're up to 20 stitches. And now we're going to work 5 rows, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So 5 rows in total of just straight single crochet. We are now forming his little rump. So once again, I'm going to start with a single crochet. I'm going to mark it so that I know that that's stitch 1. The other thing you can do is, if you're just sort of quietly making one of these a little later on, you can just count to 100, because each row will have 20 stitches. We're doing 5 rows in total, which means that if you count to 100, you will be at the end of row 12, and you will have worked all 5 rows in total. So that's another way of looking at it. But I'm just going to keep marking out my rows with my little stitch marker. And I'll keep track, more or less in my head, of how many rows I've done. Yes, Mr. InStitches is having eggnog in his coffee this morning. I had a little eggnog in my coffee this morning too, but I have switched to tea.
I highly recommend it. It is very good.
It's delicious.
Especially around the holidays.
Yes. So that's row 8 complete. I'm going to start row 9. Just single crocheting in every stitch all the way around. Diane's playing with her puppy. Aw, this is wonderful. Yes, Penelope, another present for the kitty grands. Exactly. Oh, and they just look so cute. I mean, I love little stuffed toys, but I think they look so cute popping out of stockings. Donna! Thank you, Donna! Yeah, exactly. Catherine, counting to 100, getting to 64, and someone asks a question. It also helps to have a pen and paper handy, so you can kind of make a note, like if you have to stop. For example, that's the end of row 9. I'm saying it out loud so that I don't lose track. And now I'm marking the beginning of row 10.
We had a question earlier from Susan.
Yes.
Susan asks, Jayda, do you have any tips for working in rounds with, say, 6 single crochet for 20 rounds? Not sure if that's related to the mouse.
Do I have any recommendations for working in rounds? Well,
working in rounds with 6 single crochet for 20 rounds.
Starting row.
So do you have any tips?
Well, I mean, if you don't want to seam like me, then do not join your rows. If you join your rows, you will have a seam. Simple as that. You can make your seam relatively straight if you insist on joining your rows by starting and finishing each row by alternating the stitch you start and finish in. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a curving seam. So I don't like seams at all, especially when I'm making little amigurumi. So I recommend working in an endless spiral. To keep track, do what I'm doing. Just use stitch markers by marking the first stitch of the row. I'm starting row 12, for example, and my little stitch marker tells me that was stitch 1 of the row that from the previous row's first stitch, I should say. And if you're just increasing and you want, like, it depends on the shape you want. If you want a round ball, then your increases should be even. So like row 1 is, say, 6 stitches, row 2 would be 12, row 3 would be 18, row 4 would be 24, etc. If you want a conical shape, a conical is kind of a 1-to-3 ratio. So you're increasing by 1/3 of the previous row's number. So for example, if you start with 6, then you would only want to increase maybe twice instead of 3 times. If you start with 4 and you increase in every single stitch, you go to 8. But if you start with 4, like we did with this little guy, and you only increase twice, you go to 6. And that ends up being kind of like a conical shape because you're not doing a full double. A double becomes a circle, a partial or a third becomes kind of a conical shape. So that's just sort of something to keep in mind, depending on the shape you're going for. Math is amazing. I know most of us probably didn't like it in school, but my gosh, do you ever fall in love with it when you crochet?
I have a random question for everyone out there. Has anyone ever purchased eggnog during the holiday seasons, froze it in the freezer, and then brought it out, like, say, in the middle of July or August?
No.
Because
that sounds amazing.
I'm wondering if that would be weird.
Does that work? Like, can you,
I don't know.
Can you freeze nog?
I just thought of it. I thought I'd ask everyone. Total random non-crochet thought there.
Well, speaking of crochet, Sherry's been a member for 32 months. Sherry with a membership milestone says, I get it now. Thank you. No more seams. Woohoo! I'm so glad to hear that.
Sandy says, yes, I've done that. Not weird. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay.
It's dairy. I don't think it would work. I don't know. Freezing it? Would it? Maybe not. Maybe like a month.
I'm not sure. We'll have to find out.
It. I'm just curious if anyone has ever tried anything like that.
Okay, so I finished row 12. So I've got his little nose, I've got the bridge of his head for his ears, I've got his little rump going, and now we're actually going to start closing him off. So it's already time to start making him smaller. And now is about the time when you want to grab your stuffing. So we're going to do one more row where we start to decrease, then we're going to pause and we're going to stuff. So decreasing row number 1, this is row 13. We're going to crochet, so single crochet 2 stitches together 8 times in a row. So I'm going to mark the first decrease, and now we're going to single crochet 2 together 8 times in total.
I think it'd be pretty funny to have like a, backyard barbecue in the middle of the summer. Burgers and hot dogs and all those typical summer things, playing in the pool, and then you bust out the eggnog.
I don't know. I think it sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
Once you've single crocheted 2 stitches together 8 times, so you've made 8 decreases, you'll have 4 stitches left in this row, and you're going to just single crochet into them as normal. So 1 single crochet per stitch, and we've brought our stitch count back down. We're at 12 again, and I'm going to pull up on my yarn tail, and we're going to start stuffing our little mouse. So I've got just some regular leftover yarn in my stash. Make sure when you start stuffing, you start in the very little sort of tip of his nose and just use little bits at a time. You can also use pillow stuffing, obviously. You can use chopped up fabric. Chopped up t-shirt and socks really makes great stuffing. Just make sure that they're clean and nobody's looking for them.
Membership gifted from Nico.
Nico, again, thank you so much, Nico. Nico with a gifted membership. Let's see here. Who's won it? Linda! Hey, welcome back to the family, Linda. Congratulations. So you don't need your mouse to be too full of stuffing.
Christina asks, can you please show how to count single crochet? Thanks.
Can I please show how to count single crochet? Yes. Let me just stuff the rest of that in there. So single crochet are identified by a little V stitch. So you're looking for the tiny little V's, and I'm running my yarn needle across the two loops that sit out front of a single crochet stitch, and they point together in a little V stitch. That is a single crochet. If you're counting in a row, it's very handy to mark that single crochet. So find one and just mark it. I'll mark it with my little stitch marker. And then you can count. Here's the next V stitch. At that little V shape you're looking for, that's the next single crochet. And the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And this is why when you're first learning how to crochet, it's really good to use a simple medium weight yarn that's not super fluffy and it's not difficult to work with, so that you can see your stitches. And once you get comfortable recognizing what that stitch looks like, they're easier to count, and you can start using sort of fluffier weight yarns because you will know what to look for. This is also how you can count your rows. So you look for that little V shape, that's a single crochet, and then you will start to see the indents in between rows. So this is a row, and this is a row. Sorry, 1, 2, 3. It's easy to see your rows. Once you have recognized that little shape of a single crochet stitch, now you can see the indents in between. I hope that helps.
We had a membership milestone pass by from Carrie. Carrie says, loving all the projects this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Carrie's been a member for 8 months. Lovely.
And we just got a super chat
from Lely.
Lely.
Thank you, Lely. Thank you very much. I'm so glad you guys could all be here today. Once you've got your little stuffed body stuffed, you don't want to overstuff it, but you do have an opportunity to add a little bit more later if you need to. Put your hook back in your working loop. Let's make sure that I'm not somehow... How did I do this? Somebody explain to me how this loop is suddenly... How did I do this? I must have passed this through. Does this work? Yes, there we go. Okay. Wow. Back on track. All right, that's the end of row 13. We are down to 12 stitches. We've now stuffed our little body shut. We want to continue with that decreasing pattern, but we are still decreasing the way we increased. So we are going to single crochet 2 stitches together 4 times in a row.
We got a super chat from Susan.
Susan! Thank you, Susan. And let's celebrate Susan's first super chat. Thank you so much. So that's my first single crochet 2 together, and now I'm going to single crochet 2 stitches together 3 more times. And it's getting tight, so you might have to adjust how you hold things. No rush here. I just like to sometimes keep a finger on the stuffing inside my little mouse. And I want to do one more.
Have you discussed, someone asked about putting catnip in there. Have you discussed the making it pet friendly yet?
Yep.
Okay.
I recommend wool yarn like this one. Cotton's okay too, but I recommend wool just because they can chew on it, and if the little fibers break off, it's not a big deal because cats and dogs eat literal fur if they're eating in the wild. So a little bit of cotton, which is a natural fiber, or a little bit of wool isn't going to harm them. And if you're stuffing them, then you can stuff them with more of the same, like some leftover wool scraps or cotton scraps. Ripped up t-shirt or sock is perfectly fine. Pillow stuffing is okay. Most animal stuffed toys are stuffed with stuffing. And if you want to add a little catnip, then you can put that in at the time of stuffing. So absolutely. Once you've single crocheted 2 stitches together 4 times, that will leave you with 4 stitches left in this row. Things are getting nice and small here. And like that previous row, we're just going to single crochet into each of those 4 stitches. I'm going to remove my little stitch marker. So single crochet into each of those 4 stitches. I'm going to keep my finger in that stuffing. So this is row 14. We are gradually making things smaller. So that's a single crochet in those last 4 stitches. And now we've got row 15 to do. This is the last row. We are finishing up his little bottom. If you feel like you've got gappy spaces between your single crochet 2 stitches together or your decreases, don't worry, we're going to fix that in a minute. So don't worry about that. For row 15, we are going to single crochet 2 stitches together once more. Excuse me, we're about to close it up, so if you feel like you need to add any remaining stitching or stuffing, I should say, go ahead and stuff it in now. And now we're just going to close in the end of the body by slip stitching around the post. So when you've been doing single crochet 2 stitches together, the posts are pretty obvious. You can see me kind of slipping my hook in underneath it. We're just going to slip stitch around the next 4 posts. They're really easy to see because they're kind of pulled apart because we were decreasing. And then the next one will be actually a couple of single crochets. Again, not difficult to see. This will be the end of your mouse, and it could still have some gappage. It might look a little poofy. Don't worry about it. We're going to fix that in a minute. What we want to do now is make his tail. So before you do anything else or worry about anything else, let's make his tail. So we're not fastening off. We're going to chain 14. So nice long tail shape. And then we're going to skip the first chain from the hook and slip stitch into each remaining chain all the way back, just to give him a little tail, nice and sturdy. Yes, I'm quickly kind of eyeballing the chat. I saw the word bells. If you want to put bells or little shakers in these things, you can totally do that too. That's Crocus that mentioned that. Once you slip stitch in each remaining chain all the way back to the back end of the mouse, I'm going to just make sure that I haven't twisted anything here. You can just slip your hook through any stitch you like, across from it, right next to it, whichever one you want. Just slip your hook through a stitch and slip stitch. Now you're going to leave yourself a bit of a tail. Fasten off. And here's where we completely cinch things up. So we're going to thread up that tail with our yarn needle. And I like to take my needle and first run it back and forth through that opening a little bit, sort of hop over a stitch, go back the other direction. Isel, thank you so much for picking up a couple of patterns.
I'm going to take this opportunity to answer Crocus's question. So,
Sure.
yes, we are having our annual Black Friday sale in our Etsy shop from Friday to Monday. So it's 4 days. But today, our little secret sale is the mouse.
Yes. Our sneaky sale of the day.
Sneaky sale.
Is our little mouse. I've just closed up that little space by running my needle back and forth sort of through it a couple times. And now to close up these little spaces here, I like to run my needle right underneath those two that V-shaped front of the two loops of the single crochet that I just mentioned earlier. I run it right through that and I look for the next one, kind of like I'm weaving my tail in just to get rid of it. And I'm pulling kind of tightly as I go, and I don't have to stick to the same row. I can jump up to the row above it. And I go through the next one. And I'm cinching as I go, and I'm closing in all those little spaces. And you can do this as many times as you feel you need to. You can go all the way around. You can stop and just kind of bump your needle back through your mouse. Like this area is nice and tidy, so I'm just going to pop out. I'm going to go underneath a few stitches and just pop out a little further on and then continue doing a little cinching. This also gives you an opportunity to shape it a little bit. So you see like the back end of my little mouse. My tail kind of spins out the back end of my mouse and is like
That is a little fat, happy-looking mouse.
He's all ready to run.
He's full of cheese.
Full of cheese.
Cheese and peanut butter.
Happy cheesy mouse. So not only are you taking the opportunity to kind of cinch together some of those spaces so that they all disappear, but you're also weaving in your tail. Nice and snug. Make sure there's no other little spaces or anything, especially if you're giving this as a little pet toy, because you don't want stuffing or catnip or anything kind of coming out through the spaces. And then you can just weave it back through a couple of stitches, not too many. That will just sort of lock your tail in place. And then you can pull that tail into the body of your mouse, bring your needle out between a couple of stitches, a few rows down, and then you can just insert your needle nearby and try to grab that yarn. I like to do it from a few different directions. And you just wiggle your needle back and forth to pull that yarn tail into the body of your mouse. It continues to act as stuffing, and there's no need to weave the whole thing in. There we go.
Do you think that mouse would enjoy some frozen eggnog?
I think mice enjoy just about anything.
They'll eat anything, even the cardboard
faces
packaging.
On. Yeah. So now we've got a little mouse shape. He's got his tail. He's got his little bunty back end. You can sort of shape him into a mousy little shape like this guy is. So he's flat on the bottom and his little rump sort of sits up top. And now we're going to make his ears. So I'm back to my yarn, I'm back to my crochet hook. Now the pattern and the original tutorial say to make two separately, and you can do that. And if you are still getting comfortable kind of making little pieces and sewing them on, then I recommend that. But if you're making it for a pet or you just sort of want to make a whole bunch really quickly, I'm going to show you a neat little trick with these ears. So the ear pattern says to chain 3, so make a slip knot and chain 3. And into the first chain that you made, you're going to work 6 half double crochets. So 6 half double crochet all into that first chain. Now the original pattern says to fasten off, leave a long tail for sewing, and pull the tail back through the top of the first stitch you made. And you can do that. And if you're new to this, I recommend doing that. And then you make the number 2 exactly the same way. But if you want to speed along and make things a little quicker for yourself, we're going to keep the two together. So right from where you are, you can slip your hook through the top of that chain 2, which gives you that little ear shape. So this is the same thing if you make it on its own and you fasten off and pull the yarn tail through the same stitch, you get the same shape. But we're doing this with the crochet hook. And we're going to build ear number 2 attached to this ear, so that when you attach them to your little mouse, you're just putting one piece on your mouse as opposed to putting on 2. Now, why would you want to do 2 if you can do 1? If you want to separate your ears and have them sit a little further out on either side of his head, like that, then you might want to make ear 1, attach it, and ear 2, attach it. This one, I'm kind of gone with a bit of a cartoony look. I made the 2 together and I just attached it right at about the bridge of his nose. And I still think you get a very mousy little shape or a mousy look doing that. So I'm going to show you that trick today. The original tutorial shows you to make 2. I'm going to show you how to make them in the same go without cutting your yarn. So after you've slip stitched to join in that the top of that chain 2, which was the first technical half double crochet in our little ear, we're going to repeat by chaining 4 actually, chain 4. We're going to give it just a little bit of a breathing room stitch between the ears. So you're going to ignore that first chain, find the second chain you made, and work 6 half double crochet into the second chain that you made, so that there's just a little chain between the 2. Don't join with a slip stitch, just cut yourself a nice long sewing tail, fasten off, thread up that tail with your yarn needle, and then you can pass that yarn through the top of the chain 2, which was right next to the top of that first real half double crochet. If you can only get the half double crochet, that's fine too. We're dealing with such a small space, it doesn't matter. So you pinch that together as well. So now what you've got is 2 little pinched ears, and there's a little chain in between. So I'm just going to stick my thumb in them and kind of shape them a little bit. Then you're going to take your mouse and you're going to look for the flat bottom part. Make sure that's nice and flat, and flip it so that you're looking at his little face. And you're just going to slap those ears right on the bridge of his head. And I've got one short tail, so I'm going to first pull that short tail into the mouse. I'm going to hold the ears in place, and I'm going to thread up that short tail and pull that through the mouse just to kind of help anchor it. I can take that tail out later, but if I do that little tail and pull it through the mouse, now I've anchored the ears and I can kind of fiddle with them a little bit. And that helps me kind of just go, yeah, I think I like them here. Then you thread up the long tail and you just start sewing down the ears. You kind of want to go underneath a stitch on the mouse, and then back out through the base of the ear, which is sort of grabbing one of the half double crochet stitches. Pull kind of tightly, pause. I'm going to pull that little short tail out now, so I don't need that little anchor any longer. I'm going to go through the same kind of stitch, the same place, and just anchor that ear once more. And then I'm going to work on the little bridge of the ear, that one little chain we made between the ears. I'm going to pick up a stitch on the mouse, somewhere in the same row that I'm attaching the ears to. And then I'm going to come through that little chain. And all you're doing is just sewing this little ear piece onto the mouse and pausing every so often to make sure that you kind of like where the ears are landing. So you can shape this as you go.
Nancy brought up a good something to consider. If you have cats or 8 cats, you might not want to decorate your tree with a bunch of mice.
Very good tip.
Or if you do, camouflage them with outfits.
Yes, the maybe add a mouse hat or something.
A mouse hat, or make.
Honestly, if you put up a tree with cute dangling little ornaments and you have cats, you're asking for trouble. Unless your cats are really old and they're not interested anymore. Mr. InStitches had a little cat who used to like to go hide in the tree.
Okay, we're going to try a poll. We've been having trouble with the polls.
Yes, not everybody can see them.
Some people can't see them. They don't seem to work. They really grind the computer down. Something's happening, but we can give it a try. So, do you have any ideas for a quick little poll for everyone? Will you be making mice this year? For your friends and family or your little pets?
Actually,
do you have any ideas for a poll?
Do you make have you ever crocheted pet toys?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay.
Once you've finished sewing your ears on and they feel like they're on there pretty good and it doesn't really require a whole lot of sewing, then I'm going to pull both of my tails down through the body of the mouse and out through the same space between stitches. Before I do anything else, I just take one last little look at my ears to make sure that they're sitting on the right spot on the mouse, and he's very mousy looking now. And then I take those two ends and I knot them together. And then I pull the whole thing back up into the mouse. So I poke that knot back between the two stitches that I pulled them out. And then I do that same little wiggle technique where I stick my needle in at various spots around the mouse and I grab the yarn and just wiggle my needle back and forth, which slowly pulls that little tail into the mouse. And now you don't have any knots on the outside of your mouse. Everything is on the inside. All of your sewing tails are on the inside. Your ears are securely fastened and you've got your little tail. So my peachy little mouse, I guess Peach is this mouse's name. We've got Klaus and Peach here. Klaus and Peach. So now she's very ready to run away. And this is my pet toy. I made it out of wool, but this is definitely going to be a little Christmas ornament. I might have her sitting alongside my little stocking. I'm not sure yet, but now I want to bling her out. So I'm going to start by adding her face. I'm going to do her little nose first, and then I'm going to add eyes. So I'm going to use, let me think, white for a little nose. I've got brown, I've got pink. I've also got other colors. I wonder what a good color for her nose would be. Nose color suggestions, anybody? Just type it in the chat, whatever you think. I've got every color, so whatever you think might be a nice little. So a little white nose, that would stand out really nicely. A little brown nose would be really cute. That would make her look kind of... Pink isn't going to show up too much, so I think I'll take pink out of the equation. But, like I said, I do have every color. I could do purple, a little purple nose. Maybe I should have my stocking in here to match. So I like these. That's not bad. I've got a deeper pink. That's kind of cute. White, brown. Rosario! Thank you so much. Brown nose, white. Yeah, I think both would be good. White. Brown, purple would match the sock. I agree. So I think any one of these four would actually not only look good, but would match the sock. So let me think. Got Melissa recommends red. Purple, brown. The deep pink is nice. Yeah, the deep pink. So deep pink, it's not bad. The purple, it's not bad. I'm kind of leaning towards the brown. I don't know whether that's because it just feels kind of a little more old-fashioned or Christmassy or something. I don't know. See you later, Lori. Have a good one. Purple with the pink. Liking the deep pink or red. Purple. Yes, the brown. Okay, so pretty much anything here is a good go. I think the white's kind of boring, so I think I'm going to put the white aside. When I'm presented with like how rich these colors all look together, see how nice that brown looks too? And the purple and the pink are really cute. So that rich pink, the deep purple, or the brown. I can't decide. Mister, I think we have to do a poll.
Oh no. The polls are still messed up.
Is it?
Yeah, some people are can't see it. The question was, have you ever crocheted toys for pets?
All right.
Yes,
how many votes?
No, or I'm starting now. You can just put your answer in the chat, I guess, if you don't see the poll. And you may also want to consider updating your software. That might have something to do with it.
I think that might have to do with it,
Maybe.
Yes.
Okay, do you want me to end this one?
Yeah, you can end this one. Oh, a couple strands of each. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Caroline, for sure. Mr. InStitches is just going to end this poll. And then I think we're going to pull the colors just so I can...
Okay.
Sakura Sue, thank you. I hope you're healing nicely, Sue. Have you ever crocheted pets for toys? No. 46%. Yes. 42%. Wow, that's close. Starting now. 10%. Hey, fantastic. So Christina likes them all. Cheryl likes the purple. Linda likes the brown. I honestly like them all, guys. So let's do a quick poll. And I might reheat my tea.
So we're choosing the mouse nose color? Is that what's going on?
Yes, we are choosing the mouse nose color. And I've got these 3 very nice colors. I've got a deep pink, a purple, and a brown. And I feel like any one of these would be really cute on his little nose. Peach. This is Peach the mouse.
Okay, here it comes.
So Mr. InStitches is just going to put up that poll. You might have to click on it. I know that you should see the little bar at the top of the chat. It should show up in like blue or a different color, but you may actually have to click on it. And I'm just wondering if I don't know how everybody's chat looks, but if you've got those 3 little dots at the top of your chat and you click on them, I wonder if that gives you different options for viewing in your chat too. Like you might see the words pop out chat, you might see most recent chat, you might see all live chat, because I see those options if I click on those 3 little dots if I'm working like on the computer. So I don't know, you may or may not see that. That might be another reason. I'm not sure what they default to. You got to vote for purple. Everybody's talking about antlers. I love that idea. Turning our little mouse into like he's dressed up as a reindeer. All right, I'm just going to go refill my tea, and I will be, actually, I'm going to refill my water. I'll be right back, everybody, so you guys can take part in the poll. If you can't see the poll or use the poll, please feel free to...
Yes, Karen mentioned if your computer is on full screen, you can't see the poll. So the poll sits in the chat box, and it's kind of in a different spot depending on the system you're on. So if you're on a phone or tablet, it'll be either on the bottom under the video, or it'll be to the side of the video. If you've got it on full screen on your computer, laptop, or TV, you're not going to see the chat at all unless you have it turned on. And if you do have it turned on, you might not even be able to see the poll. So it really does depend on the system you're using. A big thank you to Nico for the gifted membership, and it looks like the winner is Kristen. Congratulations.
All right. Oh boy, thank you, Nico. Nico with another gifted membership. Congratulations, Kristen. Welcome back to the family. Lovely, lovely, lovely. All right. That's a good question too, Marie. We'll do another poll with Marie's question. How many are you traveling tomorrow? Yes or no? That's a good one. Okay, Mister, you can finish the poll. I'll get my nose color going here, and then we'll ask Marie's question because I like that idea. I'm going to pull out my little darning needle. Guess I will use this one. I've got some crochet thread in that right now. Purple wins with 53% of the vote. Purple it is. Okay, I'll put these guys aside. And let's get some purple threaded up here. Once again, if you're making these for pets, you do not have to add any embellishments. In fact, I recommend against embellishments, just because it's a lot of work that's probably going to get torn up or chewed on. And you don't want them pulling out little things like beads or little bits of thread. You don't really need that. So this definitely looks like a mouse on its own. Does not need eyes or a nose. But if you're doing what I'm doing and making one for a little decoration, or maybe it's a little toy or a little cheerful pick-me-up for somebody, then adding some embroidery for a little bit of embellishment can be a lot of fun. So I'm going to put his little nose on. I'm going to cover the whole end of his nose in kind of like a triangular shape. So I'm looking at row 1, which is those 4 little single crochets we did in the cinch circle. And I'm going to bring my yarn in from the bottom. And I'm going to come out on a bit of an angle. So I'm going to work in a triangular fashion, always coming and going from the same point down here, but going to different points along the top of the nose. I'm going to leave a little tail out at the bottom so I can knot. And I am by no means an experienced embroiderer, needle pointer, but I do find that this works just fine. Try to keep your stitches somewhat close together. And you can go like a little tight too if you want, and you can sort of like shape the nose as you go. But this isn't difficult, and like I said, I'm not an expert at this sort of thing, but this does look really cute when you're done. So if you're not used to doing any embroidery, give it a try.
Susan brought up a good point. So the fatter the mouse bum, the less chance of it getting stuck under the fridge.
Yes. Fat bum equals not stuck.
There you go.
There you go.
That's the new engineering scientific formula.
If you have a nice fat toy, if you have a fat bum on your
fat
toy,
mouse butt means no fridge stuck.
Fat nose butt.
I have to work on that.
Means no fridge stuck. That's brilliant.
To work on that slogan.
I like that. Actually, yes, that is a very good point. The tubbier your mouse, the less likely it is to get stuck underneath furniture. Because I feel like that's immediately where they want to put it. They want to bat it underneath something. So I'm still kind of just working in that. I'm trying to go through the same little spot in the bottom of his nose. And I'm working on kind of spreading my stitches out across the top. I can go back and forth a few times, so.
Janice says absolutely no to the mice because of mouse phobia.
Mouse
So
phobia.
if you've got mouse phobia, you are not going to be making a little mouse.
You probably don't, unless of course like this might help. This, you know, like having something
might.
cute.
Yeah. Face your fear. Face your fear of mice and make a crochet mouse.
Yes, face your fear of mice this Christmas and make a little mouse. Aw. Not to belittle that, I'm not a fan of spiders, and I have not bothered to crochet a spider for similar purposes. They freak me out.
Barbara says, that means that I'll never get stuck under the furniture.
You and me both, my dear. Boy, I mean, can any of you remember what it was?
That.
When we were little, we could roll under the bed, or you could get underneath pieces of furniture, or you could hide in closets behind things. Does anybody else remember being able to do that?
You'll practically swan dive under the bed. You could bounce off of everything.
Yeah, you could. I can remember doing that, and now when I'm like,
dive.
I go, oh, I'll just get that's under the bed, and I try to get down on my knees, and I'm like, what happened? Now I'm picturing you swan diving under the bed, sweetie.
Billy Joe, Jayda has been extremely hard at work for the new crochet calendar. It's coming.
Yes.
Do you know when that's?
I was really hoping to have it done before the end of November, but I cannot promise that because the end of November is coming really quickly. But I am very close to it being finished. Yes,
We'll try to get that out before next year.
Yes, it'll definitely be out before next year. We will. I am very close to having it done, and I will make a post about that once I know it's available in the shop. Still putting some finishing touches on it. So all I'm doing now, I finished kind of working that purple across the end of his nose. Now all I want to do is just sort of bring my two pieces of ends together. Kind of to re-thread my needle here. I want to bring my two ends together and knot them and then do the same thing. Pull them into the body of the mouse. But I just want to make sure that all I'm doing is I'm running it underneath sort of all of the little yarn ends where they all come together in a point. I just ran my yarn underneath it and then wrapped around and went underneath it again just to kind of try and accentuate that little point down there. And I can sort of move some of these little threads around just to get his nose to be a little more even. I think that's cute. Yeah, okay. Then I'm going to knot the two ends together, and then I'm going to pull them into the body of the mouse. And that's really all the embroidery you need to do. You could, of course, make little French knot eyes using embroidery floss or yarn. I'm going to put some beads on. So I'm just going to put both of these ends through my yarn needle. There we go. And pull them right into the mouse. There. Little mouse nose is done. I'm going to take the blunt end of my needle and pass it sort of underneath some of those stitches. And I'm just going to kind of wiggle my needle around just to even out those stitches, shape the nose a little bit more. So I'm kind of pulling up on that nose. Can poke a bit of the crochet underneath it. Yeah, there we go. A little purple nose. Oh my gosh, that's cute. Okay, so nose complete. Now we're going to pick some eyes. I like lots of options. So I'm going to put you guys to the side. I will put my needle back in my needle case. Don't think I need my stitch marker at the moment. Done with the hook for now. Okay, so
I have a poll for everyone. You can just put it in the chat.
Sure.
How cute are Jayda's little crochet mice. What do you say, 1 to 5 or 1 to 10? I don't know.
On a scale of
They're
1,
pretty darn cute.
on a scale of 1 to, oh my gosh, is that a real mouse in the middle of the night?
On a scale to on the floor to on the table.
Yeah. Yeah, from a scale to on the floor to on top of the table.
On the floor to attached to the ceiling. How cute are Jayda's mice? Freaking cute, says Susan. Krista says 10. Lisa says 1,000. That's not even an official number.
Cute is the name of the
Nico
game here.
says super duper. Deanna gives you a 20 out of 10.
Trying to decide if I want big eyes.
Miss Jersey gives you a 1 million.
A 1 million. Aw.
Oh my goodness, look at Marie's number. That's definitely clinging to the ceiling level.
I'm wondering, like, if you kind of woke up in the middle of the night and it was dark and dimly lit in the room and you were, that groggy half asleep thing, if this little thing was sitting on the table next to you, next to your face, like, would it give you a second? Like, would you be like, what? Because I feel like I would.
Or like on the kitchen counter next to the, the cheese you forgot to put back in the fridge.
Cheese you left out.
Or the butter.
I am just deciding on eyes. The little black beads are pretty. I like these little ones. I think I might go with these little glass purple beads just because they're kind of cute. Now I'm going for less for realism and more for decoration because I want my little mouse to be kind of hung.
This is a non-pet toy.
Yeah, this is a non-pet toy.
This is decorative.
This is full-on Christmas mouse decoration.
Now, are you planning? I know you made that to match your little stocking. Are you planning to attach it, or is it just going to be like a side accessory?
I think what I'm thinking is because of where I hung this, and I love this color combination so much, and I wanted this to be kind of the Christmas color combination theme in the bedroom. I decided that. I thought because this is hanging on the front of my little cabinet, I thought if this little guy was sitting up top, almost like he was kind of looking down, I kind of liked the continuation of this color theme, and I like the idea of like a little mouse kind of like belonging to a stocking. It feels kind of fairy tale-esque in a way to me. So I'm going to hang this on the front of my little cabinet, and then he's going to be sitting up top. And whether or not more things evolve for this little Christmas scene, we shall see. But I'm going to add, oh, those are really tiny. I think I'm going to go with a couple of purple eyes, these darker purple ones. So I've got these darker purple glass beads, and I'm going to just use a couple of these for his eyes. Again, you could use a little bit of embroidery. You could just embroider some eyes with a couple of straight stitches. You could use beads like me. You could use buttons. You could leave them off altogether. Actually, a little mouse with just a nose is kind of cute too. But I'm just going to sew on a couple of eyes. Nothing fancy. And then I might decorate them a little bit. I have these peachy little heart sequins, and I just thought that some of these on him somehow might look kind of cute. That's really cute.
And someone here mentioned, Isel mentioned whiskers.
Yes, little whiskers.
Do you have any little crafting supplies that you could do little mini
whiskers?
Do
I have any little crafting supplies?
That's a really dumb question.
Is the earth round? I mean...
Yeah, hey, I don't know. I'm hearing donut shaped and flat and triangular. Of course you have.
Of course.
Supplies.
Yes.
That's a cute idea.
A little bit of wire, so that they kind of stick out.
But I like the buttons on the back or the beads on the back. That's cute.
Well, like I said, this is a fancy Christmas mouse. So I'm also not.
Can you crochet him an elf hat?
Yes, I'm actually considering an elf hat
and possibly.
I'm considering a little elf hat. Let me get his eyes on, and then we'll consider other things.
Jessica Rabbit says, "Does it snow in Canada?"
Yeah, does it snow in Canada?
Oh, it snows in Canada.
We have woken up to snow.
Yes, ma'am.
The last few days, I think. We did again this morning too, and there's just a little bit of it out there. So I've knotted my.
Yeah, that might work.
I've knotted my thread together. I've brought it through the bottom of my mouse.
You could just use thread for the whiskers.
Absolutely.
Because you only need a little tiny bit to kind of stick out. You could use that thread.
Yeah, I may or I may not add any whiskers.
Yeah, think about it.
I like that idea.
Okay.
I'm going to put the eyes on either side of his little face.
I'm thinking an elf hat. I want to see an elf hat.
I think we need an elf hat.
Yeah.
The trick is, though, I need to make an elf hat that's the same color. And then he needs like a little pink pom-pom on it or something. So I've just decided to locate his eyes on either side of his little face. And I'm just sewing back and forth through the nose to secure his eyes. And I'm pulling kind of tightly as I sew, just to kind of pull his eyes into his face and shape the face a little bit. Hello, Carrie. Carrie's gifted a membership. Thank you, Carrie. And Gina has won it. Welcome back to the family, Gina. Congratulations. There we go. I think 1 or 2 runs with the needle back and forth is really all that it needs. I think I'll do it 3 times total. And then I will bring my thread out through the bottom of my mouse and just knot it at the bottom. So really not difficult. I'm going to bring it right out through the bottom. So my eyes are on, and I'm just going to pull up a little piece of yarn and make a knot with my thread. And then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to kind of bury it in the body of the mouse, not so that I can't get it. Pull it out a little ways away. And then I will trim the yarn here. And I know that I've pulled the thread through the inside of the mouse, through some stuffing. I knotted it once, so it shouldn't want to come undone. That goes back in my little needle package. And Miss Peach's eyes are on. So my little Peachy mouse now has a nose.
Squeak, squeak.
Squeak, squeak. So now this is the completion of the tutorial as we have it originally made. Can we get a nice
close-up, please?
Yeah. So the original tutorial is all this. It's the mouse, it's adding the eyes, it's adding the ears, it's adding the little nose. I'm just going to shape those eyes into place a little bit more. There's his little nose, little tail. So that's the original tutorial. But since this is a Christmas decoration, I need to add a little bit of extra to it. So here we go.
Bottle of wine.
Pardon?
He's carrying a bottle of wine.
A bottle of wine. Geez, I thought you were literally offering me some, and I was about to get very excited, but okay. This little guy.
Over. That's it.
This little guy needs a hat, and I'm just thinking. I pulled this out originally because I wanted to talk about using skinny sock weight yarn and a tiny hook to make a mouse, a small one, like I have done in the past to wear in my hair. I pulled this out because this is actually one of the yarns that I have used in the past to make a little tiny version, but I'm thinking it would be perfect for a little Christmas elf hat. So I'm going to make an elf hat for my mouse. This is a sock weight yarn. I'm going to grab, let's see, bee hook. Do I have anything smaller? What's this? What's this? It's 175. That's small. Is that smaller? That's a C. Is this too small? Oh, it's not bad. Nah, I don't think I need to go that small. Okay. I'm going to go use a bee hook, which is a 2.25 millimeter. And let me think. Do I bother to make a cuff? No, because it doesn't need to sit around his head. It just needs to sit on his head. So I'm going to make this little elf hat like I would make a party favor hat. And I'm going to start at the base and work my way up. So, slip knot on hook. I'm going to have a sip of tea. Very good. Mouse earrings. Oh, I like that idea, Kim. All right, so slip knot on hook. I'm going to start with a chained ring. How many chains? Well, let's find out what fits our little mouse. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A little more. 9, 10. All right, I'm going to go with chain of 10, slip stitch to join. So I have a little chained ring, and I feel like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm going to have this sit right behind his ears on his little head. So this is some pretty tiny, this is pretty tiny work, but I'm going to chain 1, single crochet in the same chain, and then I'm going to single crochet into each chain all the way around, kind of like we did yesterday to start that ring for the tea towel holder. I'm working over top of my short tail. I do love working small when I can. I just love tiny little bits of crochet. There we go. That's 10 all the way around. And I am not going to join rows. I'm going to work in a spiral. So I'm going to work at least one more row of just single crochet in every single stitch all the way around. And I'm less interested in stitch count. I'm more interested in shape. So I'm more interested in shaping a little conical hat for my mouse. So I'm not going to focus too much on number of stitches or anything like that. But I know I started with a row. I started with a chain of 10, and I've single crocheted in each stitch all the way around twice. So that's 2 rows of 10. Pause to try it on our little mouse. Can you say cute? This is already way too cute. Okay. One more row of single crochet in each stitch all the way around. So that'll be 3 full rows of single crochet without any increasing or decreasing. This is my little Christmas mouse to hang out with my new Christmas stocking. Okay, here we go. So that's 3 rows all the way around. Now I'm going to start making it into that party hat conical shape. So nice and gradual. I think I will do a single crochet 2 stitches together decrease. I'll single crochet once into the next stitch.
Crocus says some antlers attached. We were actually discussing that earlier.
I might be able to do that.
Of turning, like putting a little antler, what would you call that? Like a bandana? What's that called?
Like a little hair?
The thing that girls wear in their hair.
Like a kerchief? Like a little,
that
or a
like
headband?
hard, it's like a hard, oh, why, I can't believe I can't think of it.
A hairband?
A hairband. The one that kind of holds stuff to your hair.
So you're the one who's having trouble with vocabulary.
Yeah, today it's my turn. It's all the eggnog. It's too much eggnog. This is what frozen eggnog will do to you.
It's so true. Okay, so I decreased 3 times. So I'm down to about, what is that? 7 stitches all the way around. So I'm going to single crochet in every stitch all the way around for a couple of rows, just to kind of elongate my conical shape. And I'm careful to get each stitch, and I'm careful to not work through. Nice and small. And I'm pretty sure I can do antlers. I'm going to have to use the same hook, I think. So once again, not concerning myself with stitch count, more concerning myself with the shape. And I've got a nice little conical shape going here. Couple more, going for an even conical shape, and then I'm going to decrease again. Nico, thank you, Nico. Nico has just gifted another membership, and Marie won it. Fantastic! Welcome back, Marie. Okay, so I'm going to start decreasing again. I'm going to decrease maybe twice. Maybe 3 times again. Let's see. Not really caring about stitch count. So that's 2 decreases. And yeah, I'm going to decrease once more. Okay, so now I should be down to about 4 stitches all the way around, which is pretty small. I'm going to single crochet to the best of my ability in each one of these stitches all the way around again. Again, not worrying so much about stitch count, interested more in the shape. So I'm getting a definite party hat shape here. Okay, and since I want it to be kind of elf-like, I'm going to single crochet in each stitch all the way around again, and then I will decrease by single crocheting around a couple of posts from the previous row. So I've kind of closed up the top. And then I think do I want to do that? I think I want to single crochet. I'm going to sort of stack some single crochets. So by stacking single crochets, I'm going to get kind of a little bit of an elfy, quirky edge to my top. I think that's enough. I'm going to leave some tail so that I can attach it somehow. But we'll worry about that in a minute. All right. Definitely it's going to have, excuse me, have like a little bell.
Perfect. It's got a little whimsical look to it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
It needs something pretty on the end. So I'm thinking
bead.
Like,
someone mentioned a bead or
really
it is super cute.
I'm going to put one of these little heart. I'm going to attach one of these little heart sequins and a bead on the top because I think that would be really cute. I think this will actually thread right through that. So let me see. I might have a slightly larger needle. Is this guy gonna work? Always check first before you bother to, nope, too big. Do I have anything? That might work. Yep, that'll do. See if I can thread this yarn into this regular needle here.
I love it. I think that hat is going to need some sort of like minute embellishment.
Yeah, so I'm going to put this...
like you're threading...
So I'm going to add my little... I'm going to add
like
this...
a super mini star or...
Yeah, I'm going to add this little heart.
Okay.
And...
You got plans, eh?
Pink, purple...
Got crochet plans.
I really like this color. I'm kind of trying to go for... Now, is this going to fit? Oh, it did. Yay! A little bead and a little heart. I'm trying to decide if it needs the bead. I mean, it does give it a little bit of... Does the bead take away from it? No, not if I give it a little slack. Okay, so I'm just going to run my needle up here and I'm going to make sure there's just enough slack. There we go. So you can sort of see that my little heart hangs kind of below the little bead that I added. And that'll be just enough weight to kind of weight it down. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. So now I'm going to stuff my needle back down through the top of my hat. Bring it out the bottom carefully, not to stab myself. There we go. And then I will use that to sew my little hat on in a minute. Can we just pause and enjoy the cutest little elf hat ever?
I think everyone in the chat is squealing.
Oh my gosh.
Squeaking.
That's cute.
Not the mouse.
Now, if I could just have one that this size and this color
is
that fits me.
super cute.
That is so cute. Okay. I might put it on like a little angle. Yeah. Behind one of his ears. It's like one of those old-fashioned sleeping caps. Okay. Do I try antlers? I kind of like them without the antlers. Antlers on the hat. Can I put antlers on the hat? Let's try. If I don't like it, I'll just take them off. So, okay, I'm going to leave my tail. I'm going to put my needle back in my thing so I don't accidentally lose it. I'm going to attempt a little tiny set of antlers with my embroidery floss and the same little hook, or do I go down even smaller? Can I handle it? I've got a 1.75 millimeter hook. This is a 0 or an O. I guess this is considered a 0. This is very, very small, but it's good for crocheting with embroidery floss. I think I might try that. I might actually go for the super tiny hook. So this is one of the, what they would consider a steel hook size. My set comes with these little covers so that, you know, you don't accidentally stab yourself because they're getting pretty small at this point. Quick sip of water. Okay, let me try to embroider, or I'm going to try and crochet some tiny little antlers off of this tiny little cap. So, super small hook and embroidery floss engaged. Here we go. I'm going to pull up on that, and I think I will attach them directly to my hat. So again, if this doesn't work, it's fine. I'll just take them out. But I'm going to attach them right into the side of my hat. So I'm going to start with this on the inside of my hat. I'm pulling up that loop, but I'm leaving it on the inside. Is this going to be a problem? Is this going to work? Nope, that's not going to work. Okay, no big deal. I'll make them separate and I will stitch them on. So in that case, I want to leave a little extra tail for knotting ends together. And I'm going to chain. So the trick is to have something stiff enough that it'll stand up. So that's 6. So I'm going to chain 7. I'm going to skip the first chain from the hook and I'm going to slip stitch backwards through. Try it again. 1. First one's always the most difficult. 2 and 3. Maybe 4. I'll slip stitch into the first 4 chains. Then I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, skip the first chain, slip stitch into the second and third chains from the hook. This is tiny work, my friends.
This is great. Life with Lady says, I'm so happy about yesterday's tutorial because now my towel stays on the oven door instead of the floor.
After that, I'm going to slip stitch back into the same place where the first slip stitches ended, and then I'm going to slip stitch into each of the remaining 2 chains. And this is just a very simple suggestion of an antler. Oh, I love those little tea towel things. They're so handy. So I've got one branch of an antler, a little taller than the other. You see that? And then it will sit on the edge of my little elf hat. All right, now the trick is to make the exact same one a second time. I'm going to leave a little bit of embroidery floss for knotting. So I'm going to fasten that off.
I've got the camera on max zoom here.
Have you? Okay.
So it might be a little blurry, but I think it's better to see it up close.
So here is my little antler. Here's my tiny little hat. I can't believe I'm making decorations for decoration. And I'm going to make a second one exactly like this and attach it to the side of my hat. So let's just pull one thread through to the inside.
Is our tea towel holder on Etsy or on the website?
Nope. We wrote up the pattern and it's in the description box of yesterday's live stream. So we don't have a...
So it's free under the video.
Yep, free under the video.
So you just click on the description box. It's either...
And yesterday I wrote up the second one, instructions for the second one that we made.
I thought we had a one on the website, like a free one on the website.
Not for that, I don't think.
No?
No.
I
Put this
forgot.
in the wrong place. Gotta reconfigure that. I want this to go out the other way. Oh, not that one.
Yes, I believe the steel hooks are clover.
Yes.
Amour.
Yep. They are also clover amour.
A-M-O-U-R.
I have trouble saying amour. I want to say armor.
It's not armor, it's amour.
Yeah, I want to say armor, but it's our amour.
Yes, the antlers are awesome. This is going to be the cutest Christmas mouse of all time.
Okay, so I've pulled the tails left on my antler into the inside of the hat, but through on either side of a stitch. So they didn't both go through the same space. I pulled them through two different spaces about a stitch apart so that I can knot them together, and that will secure it to the side of my hat. But before I do that, I want to make number 2 and make sure that it looks pretty much identical. So let's see here. Start with a slip knot. Chain 7. Skip the first chain and slip stitch into each of the next 4 chains. Looks like I'm splitting my thread. I don't want to do that. So back up, try it again. There we go.
Anna says you're making crochet epic.
Epic crochet.
Now we need a vote on Jayda's miniature deer antlers. 1 out of 10.
What?
You're a little off camera. I know it's tricky.
Yep, sorry guys.
I can't move the camera anymore. It's like it's at max everything. There you go. That's good.
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. I'm struggling to not split my crochet. I'm struggling to not split the embroidery floss here.
We have to get you one of those giant magnifying glasses that Mom and Stitches has.
I have one.
Do you have the big one?
It sits on the table. It's for jewelry making.
Yeah.
I told you. Does it snow in Canada? I've got everything.
It can't be that big because I didn't see it.
You've never seen it because I've never pulled it out.
Oh, you have it hiding.
You know what? I'm going to start this again,
You're
guys. I want it to
in
be right.
In your crafting stash.
It's very heavy. It's got a super heavy base, and it's got all sorts of little fingers to hold on to things so that you can work on stuff behind the magnifying glass.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you've
with the
seen
little clamps.
Yeah, the clamps. The clamps.
I'm talking about the big one that sits on the floor and you like pull it over. The ones you see in James Bond movies.
Oh.
I'm talking about that one.
I do not have one of those. I do not have my own cue to make me things like that. 1.
Barbara says off the scale on the antlers. Everyone's loving the mini antlers.
They are tricky, but I think they're worth it. All right, so just getting that last slip stitch done. Okay, and do not separate. There we go. Okay, whew. So there's the first 4 slip stitches done. I've got 2 chains left here. Did I do too few? Ah, I skipped one. Why is making the second one always more difficult? There we go. And slip stitch.
We have a super sticker from Sakura Sue.
Sue! Thank you, Sue!
It looks like a high-fiving lemon and lime.
Well, I love that. Thank you so much, Sue. All right, chaining 3 to do the little mini part of the antler and slip stitching into the second and third chains and then back into the base of the original slip stitches, and then I will slip stitch into the last 2 chains of the first set and finish off. So I think I did it. Okay, just make sure. That's about identical. Okay. Whew. I'm gonna fasten.
Are you
off.
sweating? I can see the beads of sweat coming down your face right now.
Okay.
Miniature crochet, it's tricky.
It's tricky. So here is antler number 2, and now I need to somehow attach it to the opposite side of my miniature hat. So I'm going to poke this out here, and I want to pull this one in. Okay, so those are those ones.
So now we need even more miniature bows.
And then I want to pull...
For the antlers.
We need miniature bows. Okay.
I'm just teasing.
You are trying to make me go blind. I know what's going on here. All right. So I want to pull this up so that it folds forward. I don't want to pull on that. I want to make sure that everything... Which is our which? Okay. Now, I don't want that to twist. Is that trying to twist? Did I make it twist? What did I just do? So that one is correct. This one is backwards. So I need this little tail to go down here. All right. Okay, so I have kind of some antlers happening here. I'm going to see if I can knot them into place. And first of all, before I do all that, does this look like antlers? Like, have I kind of captured the concept of antlers on a hat?
Absolutely. Are you kidding? It's perfect. I still think it needs a little embellishment, like a miniature star or something.
What, at the top?
No, like at the bottom of the hat, like a wizard would have, you know?
But he's a little elf.
Just a couple little cross stitches. He's a little elf? Okay.
I'll put some beads on the front. Let me just tie these off.
I love it.
Okay, so first things first.
We'll see what everyone watching thinks.
I'm going to tie little knots here to secure my antlers in place. And then I'm going to stuff these threads up into the hat. I am not bothering to weave them in or trim them. They can just act as a little bit of stuffing for the hat. So tiny work. All right. Phew. Let's get this out of the way. Stuff all this up in here. So I'm going to hold that. Stuff this. Okay, so reconfigure. I am back to, I have a couple of little antlers. They are attached. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is going to be my sewing thread, and Mr. wants me to add some more embellishments, so I'm going to add some
maybe
beading.
Just a tiny little bead at the front.
Yeah, I'm going to add
something that contrasts the color.
Oh,
like
contrast?
Yeah, that's perfect. That almost looks like Rudolph. The red nose.
The little purple.
Yeah.
I think I got something that like these ones are a little shiny. Oh no, that's practically the same
I can't
color.
zoom in any further. I don't know. I guess we could have everyone chime in with a color. I like the red one because it makes me think of Rudolph. It's like the mouse is wearing a costume.
I've also got these pretty little bugle beads, like these little straight bugle beads. Sorry guys, my fingers are in the way here. There's some little yellow ones. Got another one of these. Is that too much? Maybe two of those is too much.
I think that one's too big. Needs to be a little smaller.
I feel like this bead is too much the same color as the hat.
Okay.
So
the blue one maybe? Try the
one?
blue. The one on the far left.
Far left?
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, everyone? Bead or no bead?
I feel like it might be lost behind his ears.
It might be lost behind the ears.
Like the pretty little bead is up top here with the...
Do you have any gold beads? Have you tried the yellow? Try the yellow.
So the gold ones are very small.
You can barely see it.
Yeah, they're very, very small. Yeah. And the yellow ones, I don't feel like they really show up as well. They kind of end up looking a little bit white. I don't know. I think it takes away from the antlers.
Let's see. We're getting kind of I think the no bead is fine.
Well, again, if I put it on his little hat...
We're getting some mixed results here. Some chats are saying no bead, and others are saying red, blue, no beads.
So if I put it behind his ears, I don't think you're going to see it.
Yeah, you'd have to put it up high. So plus, you already have beads at the top.
Yeah. I've already got like a little bead up here. Okay, I'm just going to go with that. Antlers on a purple elf hat. Oh my gosh. And now I'm going to try and attach this hat to his head behind his ears. Here we go.
Life with Lady. Yes, you can get a happy birthday. Yours is tomorrow.
Happy birthday, everybody.
Happy birthday. And also happy Thanksgiving to all our American friends. I think that's tomorrow, right?
It's Thanksgiving Eve.
It's Thanksgiving Eve. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see. Where is my... There it is. Woohoo!
Now.
That's our default animation for everything. Anniversaries, new jobs.
Happy everything.
Happy everything. This is what you get. Happy birthday. You can just imagine your word.
All right, gang. I'm going to do my best to sew this little hat onto the top of my mouse behind his ears. And I think I started in the wrong spot, so let me start that again. A lot of, working tiny isn't difficult. You just have to slow down, and then you have to kind of pause and, try a stitch, and if that doesn't seem right, try another stitch, and if that doesn't seem right, try another stitch. And Nico. Thank you, Nico. Nico has gifted a membership. Joanne! Joanne has won it. Congratulations, Joanne. Welcome to the family. All right. So I'm going to worry about putting his little antlers back in the right place once I've got his hat on. I'm going to probably pause after each stitch to make sure that I've got his hat going in the direction that I want it to. All right. Gonna poof his hat out a little bit.
It's hard to keep a little mouse in your hands when they want to run off and find cheese and stuff.
I'm trying to keep an eye on making sure that I don't go off camera. I'm also trying to make sure that I can still see what I'm doing.
You are smack in the middle of the camera right now.
Great. Excellent.
Nice and close.
I am working my way around in a tiny little circle across some stitches on the mouse and around the rim of his hat. Or her hat. I guess Peach is a little girl mouse.
This is going to be one happy little mouse, that's for sure.
Well, she's definitely in a party mood. I mean, she's got her party hat on. She's in a party mood?
Christmas party or Thanksgiving party?
This is definitely a Christmas party.
It's a Christmas party. Oh, that's a great idea. I don't know if Jayda's got the energy, but Caroline would love to see a little crochet cheese.
A crochet cheese.
A little tiny triangle cheese.
That would be cute.
That is cute.
I might be able to do that. We shall see. I'm going to get one or two more stitches in here. I feel like one of my antlers is a little bit crazy. It wants to kind of dance around, but I guess that's okay. I mean, this is a crazy party hat. This is a mouse wearing a Christmas party hat. Okay. One last stitch on Mr. Mouse here. Ms. Mouse.
Next year, a miniature ugly Christmas sweater for the mouse.
Aww. That would be
because it's going to a Christmas party.
It's going to a Christmas party.
It needs an ugly Christmas sweater. Can you pull the ears back a little so we can see the eyes? Let's see. Oh my goodness. I love it.
Got his little antlers. All right, one simple little knot with this yarn so that I know the hat doesn't want to come off, and then I will tuck the rest of the yarn into the body, and I will call that a finished mouse. All right, knot in place and pull into body. So I'm just going to wiggle my needle down through the body, and then same thing, wiggle it back and forth. Sometimes you've got a little bit of a stubborn tail. There we go. All right. One complete Christmas mouse, complete with a little matching Christmas hat. I like that everything kind of, all the colors go together. And now she lives in my stocking. So this is definitely her little house. And I think she she matches the stocking. Oh, gee. Now that I'm here, I'm thinking maybe some of these might look nice off the edge of my stocking. Ooh. I might have to add those later. Yeah. Yeah, I might be decorating my stocking later. It never ends. It never ends.
Embellishments.
Okay, so a piece of cheese. Why not? Let's see if I can make a piece of cheese.
Only if you have the wrist energy.
Oh, I've got the wrist energy.
We are going on 2 hours here.
Are
right,
we?
Missy?
That's crazy. Crazy.
Well, you are a crochet guru, so...
I'm also a sucker for crochet challenges.
Crochet cheese?
And cheese. I do like a good bit of cheese. Okay. All right, little guys. You can just sit there and keep me company. And a piece of cheese. A piece of cheese would be quintessentially a triangular wedge, like it was cut from a wheel. I think Swiss cheese might be a bit tricky, but I'm pretty sure I can do a little triangular wedge, she said, thinking to herself. Looks back at yarn stash, considers yarn colors. What about a little bit of cotton? Might have some yellow cotton that might do the trick. Just yellow yarn up here.
There's a cute little cheese emoji. Jessica Rabbit just threw it up on the screen.
I will try a little yellow yarn.
And Caroline put it up too.
Cheese. Oh yeah.
Something like that.
A little triangular cheese wedge.
A little triangular piece without the holes, obviously.
So let me think. I want a triangle. And I want an edging, and I want another triangle. All right, let's see what I can do here. First, a simple little triangle shape. So I'm going to go with 3, 4, 5 for ease. So chain 5, single crochet into the fourth or the second chain from the hook and in each chain back. So that's 4 stitches. Chain 1 turn. I'm going to half double crochet 2 stitches together. And I'm going to do that twice. Chain 1 turn. And I will half double crochet those 2 stitches together. Chain 1 turn, and I will single crochet once into that single crochet just to give myself a bit of a triangular shape. Now, do I cut or build off of this? I will cut. All right. Worry about tails later.
You could make that just slightly bigger and then fold it in half.
I'm actually going to make a second one.
Pretty much got your cheese.
I'm going to make a second one and stitch them together.
Okay, that will work too, yeah. Are you going to stuff it? You have to stuff it.
I don't think I'm going to have any room to stuff it with.
Oh, we'll make room. You've got all that thread yarn.
Chain 1 turn. Single crochet 2 together. Oh, I'm off camera. Sorry, guys. Chain 1 turn. And chain 1 turn. All right, so basically I'm making 2 triangles. And then I'm going to single crochet them together into a wedge of cheese. So I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to pair my 2 triangles up, and let's see how this works. So, should I single crochet them together? Sure, why not? Sorry, gang. I keep Mr. InStitches has the has it sort of zoomed in, so I keep falling off the. Nope, that's not going to work. I'm going to stitch them together. All right. I'll leave enough yarn. Sometimes sewing is the best option. All right. Plus I can sort of shape it as I go. I'm going to tuck these tails in to get them out of my way. So you can just stay to the inside and act like stuffing. And you can stay to the inside and act like stuffing. So, piece of cheese top, piece of cheese bottom, oops,
Lots of great ideas here. You could do a tiny granny square and fold it and stuff. That would work.
Yes.
Janice says the thermal stitch will make it dense.
The thermal stitch.
Thermal stitch. What else we got here?
Is that like a waffle stitch?
Sorry?
Is the thermal stitch like a waffle stitch? Is that another name for the waffle stitch?
Granny triangle.
I do like the idea of a tiny granny square, like a little blanket or something.
Tiny granny square folded and then stuffed.
No, I'm thinking of like a tiny little granny square blanket.
Oh, it's so that the little mouse can get cozy at
yeah,
night?
I mean the mouse needs a little bed.
Of course.
He sleeps in my.
Needs a little bed.
If he lives in the stocking, there was a little mouse who lived in a stocking as opposed to a little old lady who lived in a shoe. If he lives in my Christmas stocking, then he kind of needs to have a blanket, I would say. And I'm just, oops, stitching this piece of cheese, this cheese wedge together. Nothing fancy, I just made 2 triangles and now I'm just stitching them together all the way around the outside edge. It's going to look a little bit like pizza.
Joanna wants to know how your hands are holding up.
Actually, I'm fine, thank you, Joanna. Thank you so much. It's I know I've been chit-chatting with a few people about this at the shop, but it's my neck right now. My neck is, for the last few weeks, it's so swollen that I only have forward, I can look forward, which is great because my eyes are in the front of my head. So, but I can't move it side to side. So, but I'm not in any pain just sitting here. So not a big deal. But if you do find yourself in pain, remember to listen to your body. Take a break, stretch. Be careful when you stretch. It is, crochet is meant to bring us pleasure and happiness. It is not meant to be a source of pain. And that goes for anything and any hobby especially. So I'm having one of the nicest weeks of the year with you guys right now. This has been so much fun. I love sitting and crafting with friends. I have always loved that ever since I was a little girl. And this is just, I've basically just got a great big group of friends sitting around a great big kitchen table. That's how I see it. And I'm going to make a little knot and I'm going to weave my tail into this piece of cheese. And I'm going to trim the excess and put that in my, there we go. One little piece of cheese for a very spoiled little mouse, I have to say.
Claire says we love you.
They're
sending you their love.
Aw, thanks guys. All right.
That is perfect. I would eat that cheese.
Miss Peach has a little piece of cheese. So she's bringing some cheese to her Christmas party because you should never show up at a party empty-handed. And in the meantime, when she's not at Christmas parties, she lives in my stocking. So this is my new Christmas ornament. Or so a little Peach, the Christmas mouse, with a little piece of cheese who lives in my Christmas stocking. Oh my gosh. And like I said earlier, no embellishments at all, made out of wool, perfect little cat toy. Or dog toy. Dogs like little mice too. I love this. So there you go, everybody. I hope you enjoyed day 3 of our Thanksgiving week marathon. I know it's Turkey Eve. It's Thanksgiving Eve for all of our American family and friends. So we will be live streaming tomorrow. So if you've got some time before the guests arrive or while you're, depending on where you are, maybe you're burping up turkey, please feel free to join us and spend a little time, get a little company, or just put us on in the background and have some cheerful company going. I know not everybody does a big Thanksgiving. Not everybody does a big party. So if you want some company, we'll be here. And otherwise, you can check in and see what we were up to a little later on in your day. But we will see you same time, same bat channel tomorrow.
Same mouse time, same mouse channel.
same
Also, if you've missed them, we did a live stream Monday and Tuesday.
Yes,
We
Monday
got,
we made this Christmas stocking, and Tuesday we made tea towel holders, which I'm sorry I can't show you. They are already in use. I literally put them
Jayda's
directly
got them
in
all
use.
over the place.
Yes.
And what was Monday?
It was the Christmas stocking.
The Christmas stocking. That's right.
So links for our little mouse, the original tutorial, in the description box down below. Yesterday's tutorial and Monday's tutorial as well. We've got original tutorials, so if you want the short, concise version of the project, we've got those links for you. And thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you for your support, your company, your wonderful suggestions. It is just so nice to have you all here. And we will see you tomorrow. Mr. InStitches, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Just this.
Aww. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
Everyone have a great day.
Yes.
And evening and holiday if you're in the U.S. or celebrating. And we will see you all tomorrow.
Yes. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Stay safe, stay crafty, stay cozy.